Got teary-eyed because it's so true. Jesus has saved our marriage time and time again. He has saved our lives. I've seen him change your life. I've seen him change my life a lot.
Hey you, my name is Caleb.
And I'm Stephanie.
And welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about why we believe in Jesus and why we share about him online.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the video, but you are loved beyond measure. I get asked online, why do I share about Jesus? We both love sharing about Jesus on Instagram, on YouTube,
On TikTok,
on all these things. So sometimes people ask us, why do you do that? Or why do you believe in Jesus in the first place? I love the scripture. It says 1 Peter 3:15, but in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect. So I think that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today, why we made that decision to have a business where we also share about Jesus online. So let's get to it.
Yes.
I wish we could just sit down for coffee. Maybe we can and just hang out, or I would get some hot chocolate. You could get coffee.
I would get a coffee.
And just talk about our lives and all those things. But if you were to ask me, okay, why do you share about Jesus and these vulnerable things online? The simple answer for me would be that I have it at the top of my Instagram bio. It says, the diary of Jesus saving me. That is why I share. Jesus not only saved my life, he continually saves my life time and time again. For me, that's my most important relationship. That's what my focus is on. I can get more into that in a little bit, but that would be my really simple answer. So if someone was sitting down for coffee with you, what would your just like simple answer be?
I would definitely say that my simple answer for believing in Jesus is...
Or sharing about him.
Yeah, I think...
Or sharing, do sharing.
Okay, so my simple reason for sharing about Jesus is that he's such an important part of my life that he's in everything. He's in everything I do. He's in everything that I try to, incorporate in our marriage, how I incorporate our relationship. What I believe in, my purpose in life revolves around him. And so oftentimes I think about sharing other things and I'm like, why? What's the point? At the end of the day, what is most valuable to me? And it's Jesus, and it's what he's done in our lives and what he's done in our marriage. And I can't help but be able to share about his love with other people and just tell other people why that means so much to me and how that's changed my life. Because if it can change somebody else's life like it's changed mine, that's a victory. And I know God can if people just allow him to. That's a long, short answer.
Yeah, I love that. I got teary-eyed because it's so true. Jesus has saved our marriage time and time again. He has saved our lives. I've seen him change your life. I've seen him change my life a lot. I was just so lost without Jesus. And on the outside, it would have looked like I had everything all together and that I was living this good life. I remember just like, I want to share my whole testimony at some point, but to give you a really fast version, when I was going to Penn State for undergrad, I was living I had come off of a season where I was kind of trying to seek God early on, like the very beginning of college. But I just felt like God didn't care about me. I had a lot of mentor of mine that was this Christian woman that was amazing, died of a brain tumor. I went to this Christian organization and all these girls there, I just felt like were really judgmental to me and unkind to me. And I just came from a season where I was just like, God, if you exist, I don't think you care about me, or I don't think you're good maybe. So I'm just gonna try to do this life on my own. And I just really dove in and just was doing all the partying every day and still getting good grades at college, but just diving into that life without God. And just in the outside, it looked great. I was going on all these vacations. I had all these great friends who are amazing people and seeing beautiful places and traveling and going to all the parties, going to football games at Penn State and going to the parties there. And dating the cool guys that played sports, and from the outside it looked like, oh, this is amazing and you have this great life, but inside I was dying inside. I was suicidal at the time and no one knew. I had a lot of pain from my past that I did not ever deal with, and just was hiding a lot of things and under a smile and drinking and things like that. And Jesus literally, one of my friends told me, why don't you try going all in for God? And said, you have tried to dabble and like go to church and listen kind of to God, but then you have one foot in, one foot out. Why don't you try going all in for God? And so I remember sitting at my desk after going to this one Christian meeting, and they told us a little bit about what it would require to follow God. And I remember sitting at my desk and be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to change everything about my life. This is terrifying.
Yeah.
But what's the alternative? I feel like so lost right now. And so I remember sitting there and I made this decision to like fully go in with my relationship with Christ. And from that moment on, that was such a pivotal moment in my life that then has drastically changed the rest of my life. And Jesus has literally plucked me out from the mud and the muck and put my feet on solid ground. And he keeps doing that as I get the mud and muck all over me again, and as I get lost again, and as I get confused again, he continually saves me. And the transformation of what he did in my heart, to me, there's no explaining it. You can't, unless if you knew me before and you know me now, you might hopefully see a big difference in me. But internally, just knowing God's love, knowing that Jesus died on the cross for me, literally took my place, died a death I should have died, but now don't have to. And he lived a life that I could never live. He lived it for me. And he frees me from myself, from my selfishness. I'm still selfish, but every time I trust in him, he keeps taking that and keeps taking my burdens and keeps taking my fear that was overwhelming. My fear was so overwhelming. He freed me from the fear of death. I was always so scared of so many things, and he keeps freeing me as I put my trust in him. That's why I know he's real. He's there. Through his word, the indescribable way that he's changed my heart and life. There's so much more to the story, but that's just a little piece.
But I love that about Stefanie, and I love that about her story. It's like God had his hand on her and just was looking for her to look back at him and just to like trust him with her life. And I see how radical that transformation, because I know the whole story, but I see why she can't help but to fully transform everything and be such a light to other people and to me, because she transformed my life. I don't know if you saw our last video about our love story, but that's why like when I first saw her, I just like saw Christ's beauty in her, just like radiating, this like light beaming in this room of people worshiping, people of God, and like she shone like a lighthouse. And it just rocked me to my core, because I see how God has transformed her, and then she took the action of transforming her life, and she is a shining example of that in our marriage, and has really helped me to be able to transform the parts of my life, being somebody that's always been surrounded by Christian culture, always been in the church, and I had so much growing to do. And so to see her go through that transformation and to see her now want to shine that light to others, not only do I see why she wants to shine that light to others, but I know that there is so much purpose behind that, and she doesn't want that life where she chose to do whatever she wanted to do and lived in the flesh and lived in just like selfishness, and she doesn't want that for anybody else. She doesn't want that for me. She doesn't want that for you. She doesn't want that for anybody she comes into contact with. Yeah. You're so beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
You so much.
I appreciate you sharing. That's so hard. It's like hard because I know how much that rocked you, but I also know the redemption of what Christ has done in your life, and thus rocking and changing my life, because there's been like moments of my life where I've taken things very seriously and not seriously. And so I've been on a very much like windy road with Jesus until I would say like the last couple years, where I've really dived in and I've really just changed everything and said, God, this is my focus. You are what I need to put my focus on. And in changing that's made us just want to be able to share with other people and want to get people to see God how we see God, and to see you how we see you, like of loved, of being a child of God, that He created you so much for a purpose, and that He has an amazing plan for your life. And what He wants is for you to believe in Him and to follow Him. He wants us to be obedient and to trust Him with our lives. And in doing so, He frees us to live fully to who we are. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing about God, is that He wants us to come back to Him, to listen to Him, because He truly, truly has the best way for us.
If you had the cure to cancer, would you share it? And we are spiritually dead without Jesus. That's just the truth of the matter. There's nothing that, I know that may sound harsh, but nothing else can save us, our souls. No matter how good we try to do, our good works, it says in the Bible, are like filthy rags to God, because honestly, there's so many mixed motives in good works. People want to like applaud from other people. People want to look good in the eyes of others. People want praise from people. And so even our best works cannot save us. Government can't save us. Religious acts can't save us. It's really, Jesus came on earth because He knew that there was this disease of our souls that would condemn us to death forever. And there's nothing we could do about it. And so Jesus literally paid the ransom for us. Like, He paid the price. I always like thinking of this story of this man who he owed this person a debt that was unpayable, and so he was sentenced to life in prison without parole, and the man that he owed it to said, I cancel your debt, and I actually paid it, and it's paid in full. You can be released and live freely. And if someone did that for you, imagine being in that man's position, that you were sentenced to death forever, or you're sentenced to prison forever without parole, and it was torturous and horrible, and then someone paid your price that you could never pay. It was not in your ability to pay, and you didn't deserve it. Maybe you did, the wrong, and you didn't deserve it, and they freed you. How grateful would you be to that person? Wouldn't you tell everyone you knew, this person saved my life, this person paid my ransom, this person got me out of prison? That's how I feel. That's how it is with Jesus. Jesus did that for us. So for us, I want other people to know that. I keep thinking about what life was like before God, and I got emotional because I felt so lost, and I still can feel lost at times, but then I look back to Jesus, I fix my eyes on Him, and there's that peace that transcends all understanding. He breaks us free. I was such a people pleaser. I was someone who was obsessed with what people thought about me. I still can struggle with it at times when I don't have my eyes fixed on God. But when I fix my eyes on Jesus, He helps me to love other people just out of the overflow of love that He's given me, not out of how are they going to feel about me, but Jesus loves me so much. Lord, how can I be a blessing to whoever you put in front of me today?
And that's how we've kind of always seen it. We've always wanted to be that blessing, and then to go about like we've had this ransom paid, which we have, and we want to be able to help people to have that same freedom. So we'd love to talk to you and give you resources, and just if you felt lost and you want to know more about it, we would love to talk to you. So you can comment down below and we can get connected. You can DM us on Instagram so we can voice memo you back and forth, and just would love to support you and encourage you. And you might be sitting here and you love Jesus and you want to share about Him online, but you don't know how to do that. I just want to encourage you, for one, God does call us to go and make disciples of all nations,
And that is a call. And the more we step out in faith, yes, there's persecution. Every time we share about Jesus online, we get a lot of different hate, we get persecution, but there's also a lot of good. And we see, Caleb and I always say to each other, we want to live for an audience of one, and we want to live for an eternal mindset. Something that's promised on this earth is that we will all die. But the hope in Jesus is if we believe in him, we will go to heaven. And if we believe in him and are obedient to him out of that love, we will get to see him and get rewarded in heaven for all the things that we did to build towards his kingdom, which looks a lot different than building towards the things of this earth. So every time you share, every time you step out and love other people in kindness, it's really building to the kingdom, and it doesn't make it easy. Making sure you are surrounded in prayer. I know anyone that wants to pray for us, we would love prayer because there's been a lot of persecution.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's all so good, I love that. And I think one thing in the verse that Stefanie shared earlier about knowing the reason that we need to share like our faith, at the very end often is skipped, and it says do this with gentleness and respect. And so I encourage you that if you're going to go share online, that you do it with gentleness and respect, that you would love others and show God's love in that way, and be gentle with it and be respectful, and God will move in mighty ways. And I think that that's such a powerful thing to remember as you are doing it, and just to be bold. Know that God is with you. At the end of the other verse, which in Matthew 28:20, it says, remember, I am with you always wherever you go, to the very end of the age. And God is with you, and he's going to give you the strength, and he's going to give you the courage to do it. Well, guys, we're so thankful that you spent this time with us today, that you heard our hearts and got to know us just a little bit better and more intimately. We hope that this video blessed you, that it was able to encourage you. And if you've taken your first walk with Jesus today, we celebrate with you. We're so pumped. DM us on Instagram. Let us know down in the comments below if you love Jesus and if you're trying to serve him or you're trying to do something for him. We'd love to connect with you, and we're just so excited that you would spend this time with us. We also have some free resources down below for you guys to get connected as well.
And we have some really great videos coming your way, hopefully. And you are loved beyond measure.
And we'll see you in the next video.